The Nigerian government seems to become sensitive to the plight of holders of the higher national diploma, which hitherto have been discriminated against by holders of other higher degrees and certificates in the country. With the recent inclusion of holders of higher national diploma into lecturer cadre in the national polytechnics, the dichotomy between HND and BSc may be abating. Correspondent in Abuji takes a look at the reaction of Nigerians on Tuesday's approval and announcement of the new scheme of service by the Executive Secretary of the National Board of Technical Education, Professor Idris Bugaji. The dichotomy between HND and BSc has been a source of worry to holders of the former due to discrimination in promotion and scheme of service in almost all facets of the Nigerian economy. Even after the abolishment of the dichotomy by the Buhari administration in 2018, the difference persisted, with HND holders getting embarrassed whenever the ranking occurs. However, the recent announcement of a new scheme of service made by the NBTE seems another sign of relief to the polytechnic graduates who are now to be employed as lecturers in polytechnics if they have good grades.
Welcome development as we accept university graduates to lecture in universities as graduate assistants. So polytechnic graduates as well should be allowed to welcome and then to lecture as well. So they too should lecture. So it's a welcome development, and I think it will even add more value to them for people to go into monotechnic and the rest. So to my own view, it's okay.
This is currently being welcomed as a good development by Nigerians, especially those who hold HND certificate. Before now, many had asked why the discrimination against graduates of polytechnics by government establishment after the government established them to complement universities, which were before now had to afford by some families. Nigerians are, however, hailing the new scheme of service, saying such reform would pave the way for a brighter and more inclusive future for polytechnic education in Nigeria. They believe the new policy will address the long-standing segregation against HND holders. Polytechnic education was made to encourage practical knowledge within the education sector, while the segregation against its graduates made it difficult for many citizens to patronize the institution, hence the almost brain drain witnessed among its certificate holders. The new policy, according to analysts, will make it easier for polytechnic lecturers to now relay practical knowledge and hand-on learning experiences to the students. Others believe that it would also create job opportunities in the circles of HND holders.
It is a welcome development because it will help HND graduates to exercise what they have learned, you get, and even in our country at large, it will even help create job opportunities for graduates in the country. Because at the end of the day, both BSc holders and HND holders will still move into the society to look for the same job opportunities and everything. So that's it.
Like the abolishment of the dichotomy between HND and BSc, Nigerians also emphasize the need for strategic implementation of the reform, saying it will not be good enough to make such reform without its entrenchment into the system. They ask for its full implementation to end the long-lasting segregation between HND and BSc holders in private and government organizations in the country.
Everything just go down the drain. So it's a welcome development if these things are put in place. The capital, the manpower, the monitoring, the supervision and everything. And watching to see the results. Not that they'll just say it, everybody will just go and sleep and everything ends there. And I think with your question, yes, definitely, it will bring about the bridge of the dichotomy. Definitely, if this is put in place.
Yeah, if they really try to, it is not enough to say this is what we are going to do. Another thing, policy implementation, let them implement it. It will go a long way. There are people who have this know-how that Nigeria is not really bringing them to bear. If you do this, this will motivate some of them to really, put in their best at various spheres of works. You understand? It's going to some extent, it's going to do.
I think if you put the hand, the government needs to do a lot, because if you look at, if you go to some organizations today, you see when you see the job requirements, you will see they will tell you somebody that has a BSc, So I don't think there's any difference between BSc and HND. There's no difference. There's no difference. They all went to the same school. They went to the same NYC. So what's the difference? There's no difference. So it's just about practical and theory knowledge. So I think government need to do a lot when it comes to the dichotomy between the university and the polytechnic.
They have said it all. The government must ensure full implementation of the new scheme of service and indeed the complete abolishment of the dichotomy between HND and BSc to avoid bickering, intimidation and official excommunication of some workers in the scheme of things in their various fields of endeavors. This indeed will encourage productivity in the country.